What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. First and foremost, Happy New Year's. Hopefully you guys have had a wonderful holiday season. As a part of today's brief update, we're diving into the charts for Bitcoin and Cardano, given the fact that Cardano has been outperforming the majority of the blockchain and crypto space, currently up over 16% in the last 24 hours alone. Now, I want to lay down the foundation as to what we can expect and exactly why I personally believe that we're going to see a $1.50 ADA within the next couple of weeks, if not months, as we're finally heading into the exponential growth phase of this bull market. So if it's your first time stopping by the channel, please make sure to smash that thumbs up on the way in. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content just like this, consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please go ahead and leave those down below. Now, I am also a single stake pool operator, so if you'd like to support the channel, then consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the charts here. And we're going to kick things off here by just reviewing the biggest tokens or the biggest crypto coins by market cap and their 7-day percentage growth. So looking here, we've got Cardano ADA coming in at number 1 in the last 7 days, up 24%. At number 2, we've got Dogecoin up over 21% in the last 7 days, followed by Solana, XRP, and then of course towards the bottom there we've got ETH and a Bitcoin. So we've got Bitcoin dominance dropping, meaning that altcoins are now beginning to steal the show. And if I jump over here, I want to lay down one of my first points here before I jump into the Cardano specific charts. So that said, if you guys aren't familiar with the RSI, it's called the Relative Strength Index Indicator, and it typically allows for us to quickly and visually see when an asset is overheated, meaning that it's overbought, or when it's super cooled off or undersold. And so that said, right now we've had Bitcoin overbought in the last couple of months. It's officially cooled off. And I want to just take an observation here and just want to note the fact that Bitcoin has officially reset on the RSI. So this was literally just a couple of days ago, Bitcoin trading at $92,000. Of course, right now it currently stands at around $98,000. But the RSI, if you look at the bottom here, was at around the, let's see here, 41% range, or the 41 value range. And so the last time that we saw the RSI in that same exact zone, if I actually zoom back out here, this was right before the presidential election, which of course spurred a huge rally for Bitcoin, also taking altcoins with it. And that was back around the 10th of October. So the RSI showing very similar signs in terms of underbought or oversold as it did all the way back in October, right before this mega rally kicked off here on election night, or on November 4th, which took Bitcoin from $67,000 all the way up to around $106,000, a move of around 56%. Now, as you could imagine, many altcoins, including Cardano, making moves of upwards of 300%, given this particular rally shown by Bitcoin. Again, that just shows the power of altcoins when they do and finally wake up. So that's the first point that I wanted to make there, is that the RSI has officially reset when it comes to Bitcoin. Now, why is the RSI resetting even important in the first place? Well, if I actually jump back here just a little bit further, I want to just quickly show something here. And this is for, again, anybody who just maybe isn't aware of this particular indicator, but I've highlighted in red here 2 separate portions, and this dates all the way back to February of 2024, all the way until September of 2024. So roughly a 6 to 7 month period. Now, what you'll notice here is that as we entered the $56,000 range all the way back in February of 2024, the RSI, which is down here highlighted in red, was showing us that Bitcoin was overheated. This meant that we could potentially expect for Bitcoin to sort of go sideways, or at least cool off and wait until we saw additional higher highs. Now, that's exactly what played out, right? We saw Bitcoin trading in this range with highs of $73,000 and lows of around $56,000 for roughly 6 to 7 months. Now, as we began to come out of that particular range right before the elections, what you'll notice here is that at the same exact price point, so Again, this is the $56,000 range. And again, 7 months later, 6 months later, the $56,000 range. However, this time, if you look at the RSI all the way at the very bottom there, we can see that it was at around 34. So going from right here, 67, all the way down to 34. Again, this is the same exact price value, but this just shows that Bitcoin at this particular point was undersold. And at this particular point, it was overbought. Now let's jump into Cardano and see exactly what we're seeing there when it comes to the RSI. So if I take a look here, this is Cardano on the daily. And what we're going to see is a very similar pattern where we had the RSI. This was at around 32 cents right before the election confirmation. And the RSI was right around 44. Again, we've seen a massive leg up, which was right around 270% in terms of gains. And now the RSI at the 84-cent range is now back at around 39. So we've essentially seen the same exact RSI reset that we had with Bitcoin now showing on Cardano. Now, obviously not financial advice. However, we are able to see that Cardano is not overbought, even though it is at around $1.09. Now, again, this is on the daily time frame. So depending on what time frame you're looking at this from, you could see different data. But I like to use these slower moving time frames because they're a little bit more stable, but the moves take a little bit more time to actually play out. So having said that, in addition, I also want to highlight the fact that we've seen critical support coming in here from the 50 SMA. So that's this golden line here, which we can see price is really respecting. And again, we sort of ran away from that average, and we had a sell-off right back into it. And we're now starting to see price hovering above the 50 SMA. Now, what's actually interesting about this 86 or this 80-cent range is if I zoom out all the way back to a year ago, where we had the first Bitcoin rally when Bitcoin went from around 15,000, which was the FTX lows, all the way up to around, I want to say it was $44,000 to $45,000. We saw Cardano ADA going from 26 cents all the way up to, you guessed it, the 78 to 80 cent range. So this actually acted as resistance, which I highlighted here in this green section. And we can see that we had a major sell-off in a cool-off period, which was again around 6 to 7 months, followed by the election night where we had all of that price action removed in just a matter of a couple of days. Now, what's interesting is that recently that same exact range is now acting as support. So we've officially flipped this particular range, and we were expecting for buying pressure to come in around that 80-cent range, which we've now seen confirmed. So what does this actually mean for Cardano moving forward as I get ready to wrap up today's video? Well, it means that the best is still ahead. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? If I zoom out here, what you'll notice is, and I've drawn these lines out here and they've stayed relatively the same in all of my videos. And so that said, all I've done is basically just draw horizontal price support or high volume nodes where there's a lot of price action occurring. So the next high volume node that we have above us for Cardano is at around $1.50. And if we're able to break past that, we're looking at price targets at around $2.30. So Cardano, again, waking back up, leading all the top cryptos up over 30%, or excuse me, up over 24% in the last 7 days. We've seen strong buying pressure coming in. Bitcoin has the RSI reset. Cardano has its RSI reset. We've got the 50 SMA showing strong support. And we're, again, getting ready to target for anything above $1.30. So that will bring me to the end here for today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. A little bit of a different video here. I don't typically do price action videos. However, as a creator, I am going to be expanding and just touching on new topics. So if you enjoy content just like this, please make sure to smash that thumbs up on the way in if it's your first time stopping by and you want more content just like this, breaking down what's going on here with Cardano, looking at the bigger time frames. Consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please go ahead and leave those down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.